but I remembered it, so I appreciate myself. And Jasmine, let's get Jasmine in here. And let's get the lesson tonight. And let's see here. So is there any questions so far? We're starting class 6. This is February 27th. And it's been a really kind of strange day when there's wars and rumors of wars and nuclear wars, and whoever's invading's not knocking out the gas, water, electricity, and internet. So, you know, how bad are they? And I'm going to show you guys a clip real quick before we get started here, because I like to be sidetracked early. So everybody's big into the let me hold on. Stop my thing. So bear with me here while I okay, so far I messed up with time. So let me get my movie over here. It's nice that I have it together, huh? Can't be perfect. So I must have a program running somewhere.
I do got a question for Mark. Mark, I have your 990 analysis scorecard missing. Did you get that completed?
Yeah, I just emailed it to you about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. I'm not checking emails yet. Let's see.
You know what, Miss Turner, you know, I did send you mine, and I actually just finished typing it up before class began. However, I just did want to ask you if I could probably just have like just one more week, because I already chose an organization, but I've had like a few. I just wanted to look at again, you know, and just make sure that this is the one that I want, because I have there's so many out there. If that's just okay with you.
Absolutely. You have another week. Finish off.
Okay,
We have one
thank
more
you.
week of class. And so that's
Okay.
pretty much next week is the last week where you guys actually have to turn in all the homework, and everything has to get turned in.
Okay.
Okay, I can send you, resend you what I have, like the type out version, since I just sent you the pictures the first time, if you want me to, just to show you that I did do the work.
Yeah, I could take a look at it.
Okay.
Which assignments do I ask, which ones do I still have to send in? You don't
Who
have
is
yet?
that? Fernando?
Yeah.
It looks like you turned in the Poverty Inc. homework. And I need the organization review, the 990 analysis. And let's see what else do I have here. Yeah, those are the two that I'm missing.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'll get
Okay,
those.
Mark, it looks like I have it.
Okie dokie. So I think we're going to start with a review or 2 or 3. So Veronica, are you all set there? Queued up?
Yeah, okay, so
Or do you want a couple minutes? Or?
So I have Jasmine, Sherry Birdsong, Andrea Carter ready to go. And it looks like Tanita also, but it looks like she's not logged in yet. So unless you're ready to go, Mark, you want to present today? If you're ready?
Yeah, I can if you want me to. That's fine.
Okay. All right, so let's have Mark go. And then if Tanita joins us, we can see if we have enough time to squeeze her in. Okay, so I'm going to start with Jasmine. Jasmine, you ready to present?
My computer is loading slowly. I'm trying to pull up the file, so probably not the first person, but the second
Okay.
one.
All right, so, all right, who's ready? Sherry? Birdsong? I can pull up your information on my side.
Let me find what I did with my paperwork. Give me 1 second.
Okay,
I'm gonna go over the packet that I sent you.
yeah, we're gonna go over that. We're gonna go over the scorecard, kind of present a little bit about why you did it. Tell us a little bit about the organization, what they do. Kind of a summary of the organization. All right, is anyone ready to go?
I can go.
Okay, perfect, Mark. You're the trooper. Let me pull up your information.
Here's a trooper.
You're a trooper. You're leading the team here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up your organization review here. Okay. So Dan, can I share? Let's see if I have a,
Yeah, I made you a chef person.
okay. Tell me if you guys can see my screen.
Yeah, we could see Mark's name on there, really big and bright.
Okay, perfect. All right, Mark, there you go.
All right, so
Organization.
the organization I chose, it's the North Metro Miracle League. I've been volunteering with this organization for, probably the past 8 or 10 years. Last year it was in a little bit more regular capacity. But what they do is they work with not only kids with special needs or disabilities, but also with adults and their families as well. It started out essentially as a chance for them to play softball and get out and play against each other and for the families to fellowship, and has evolved into a couple weekends during the year where the families all get together and they go out to the lake and they have boats. So it gives people that usually don't get the chance to go out and experience sports and athletics and that kind of stuff to go out and experience those things, almost kind of like the Special Olympics, but more on a not so formal recreational level. But it also not only gives the kids and the people with disabilities an opportunity to network with their peers, but also their families as well. So the families get to kind of provide support for each other and the struggles and the things they're going through. It was started by a guy, his name's John McLaughlin. He's a retired Delta pilot. He doesn't have anybody in his family that special needs or anything. He just has a soft spot in his heart, and he's fulfilling a need. And especially with the COVID stuff, governments were a little bit overwhelmed with distributing funds, and they kind of tagged him as the point of contact to get out funds during all the COVID stuff when families couldn't get to the government buildings and stuff. So he's very well trusted and does some amazing things.
How many volunteers do they have? Do you know?
They have, so when they do a spring softball league and a fall softball league, and they typically have 8 to 10 teams, and there's 2 coaches per team. They don't have any, so people can sign up and volunteer. So it gives other organizations like service leagues and that kind of stuff. Pretty much John and his wife run the organization, and then they have a board of directors that votes on things. So.
Okay, I was looking for the scorecard, but I just emailed it to myself. So bear with me as I pull it up. Looks like they scored a 17. Is that right?
I think it should have been an 18.
18. Okay, let me just take a look here.
I believe the only one that receives any salary is John, and it was like $40,000 or something to offset just his costs and that.
All right, can you guys see the scorecard?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So it looks like they scored an 18 here, which is perfect. So you can tell they scored high 3s on each category here. So this is, it's really good, Mark. Well done. Well done. Awesome. And how did you hear about them, Mark? What was,
So they actually partner with the city that I work for, where I'm a firefighter paramedic for, and they're required to have first aid on site whenever they play the games, just because a lot of the participants have medical conditions, so they need to have somebody there just in case. And they do all kinds of special, like low sensory events over the holidays, Christmas. They go to the first showing of the Christmas Carol where they do the dress rehearsal, so the kids can go out to these kind of formal things and with their families and not disrupt anybody else. And so it's kind of a cool thing, and my family would attend. We've always done stuff with special needs and done that kind of service with them. So it's just something that fit, and those kind of organizations, when they see somebody that's invested in it, they invest back into them and use them for all kinds of stuff. We
Yeah.
actually responded to a structure fire at one of their houses when I was on duty one night. And after the fire, we helped them move out so they could redo it and move back in. So it wasn't just an on-duty type of thing. We provided help, like service help as well. So
nice, love it. Well done, Mark. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Is there any questions?
Any questions for anyone? Yeah.
He's pretty thorough, so.
Yeah. So this is kind of an idea of what, when we go on like an overseas trip, kind of what you're doing now, like these exercises, doing the research, asking questions about, I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to go in person to meet with the program directors to kind of get a tour of the facilities. I know it's a little challenging with, COVID, but this is what we do when we go on these big trips. We go out there, we're meeting with the program directors, we're taking a tour, we're actually interviewing the staff, we're asking all these questions that you're asking here in these local nonprofits. We're just doing it at a larger scale. So kind of what, a little bit what to expect when you go on these trips. So it's kind of cool. Okay. Anyone else volunteering to go before I pick you guys?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay. Jasmine, let me pull up your information. Okay, so. All right, I'm gonna pull up your organization review. Okay. Share. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I chose Hands as a Carpenter. And Hands as a Carpenter is a automotive services and vehicle placement program for Jefferson and Boulder counties here in Denver, or Colorado, I should say. And they help single moms maintain their vehicles as they're working and pay like 35 to 50% of the market value for the total cost. Not it always including the labor. And they scored 18 out of 18 on the 990. The reason that I chose them is because back in 2020, I had been introduced to them, and they placed me in a vehicle which I still use now, and it had very low mileage, and it's a very good car. And then after I got my job at Cross Purpose, like almost a year later, now we have a referral partnership with them, and I've gotten really acquainted, and I'm very fond with Margarita Panetta, who is, she's like the gateway for the community partners referral, and I don't know, they just do some amazing things, and I've seen them place so many of Cross Purpose graduates into vehicles, and I don't know, it's just amazing to work with them. And I didn't think that they would be an organization to look at, just because I figured that they charge for so many of their services, or that's what I thought. And then looking at the 990 and recognizing like all their services they don't really charge for because they're not making any profit off of it. And so they've got zero there, they get zero government grants. And I was just like, oh, this is amazing. Cause I looked at like 4 or 5 different nonprofits prior to even looking at them. And so, I don't know, I was just very impressed and I really appreciate what they've done for me and what they do for the ladies that I serve. So yeah, it's just amazing.
Oh.
As they say, you never know what's under the hood, right?
Yeah. Yeah, when I saw some other stuff that was under the hood that was like looked a little different, I was like, huh, that surprises me. So
But
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I was looking at their financials here. It looks like they have 50 volunteers that they, I'll pull it up here. You guys can see. Right here, number 6, total number of volunteers, they have 50, and this was in 2020.
Mhm.
People involved, which is good. Now, do they, when you're saying they're giving them cars, is it like a loan? They're giving them a,
No, they pay 35% of the market value of the vehicle. But they won't sell that many cars that are like, you know, a beat up Honda that has high miles on it. Like I got a 2009 Nissan with 130,000 miles on it, which was amazing. And then I saw them place somebody else in a 2010 recently with like 98,000 miles on it. But they pay 35% of the market value, anywhere between $900 and $1,500, nothing more than that. And nothing less than 900 because they don't want to give them. So 35% of 900 is probably like $3,700 for a car, but they're only going to pay 900 of that. So that's pretty, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. And they only place single moms that do not have a vehicle that work full time, however. So, and you still have to pay that 900 to 1,500, but also there's like a program where they've just fixed the vehicle and they charge 35 to 50% depending on like where they live and what's their circumstance and which program that they enter into. And oil changes for like $15. Like it's very
it's affordable. It's definitely affordable.
it's affordable and it's just a blessing.
So is it like an application process? They have to fill out the application or how do they get on the waiting list or?
So they have community referral partners, which can help them get on the list. But also if they just live in Jefferson or Boulder counties, if they live in a zip code that they serve, then they get on the waiting list as well. Not everybody qualifies for the Lift Up program, which is the placement program, because there's like, you cannot have a vehicle in your possession. Like you have to be a mom with no car or your car is on its last wheel. And then, there's just like some criteria there, but if you live in those 2 zip codes, you definitely qualify. And then if you've been referred by a community partner, you also qualify, but they are very strict to their guidelines about employment because they don't want to put anybody in a car that cannot afford insurance every month and to set them up for failure.
Yeah.
So they're
It sounds
great.
like a great program.
Yeah,
It helps them
great.
out to kind of get them, going and.
Yep, definitely. And then there's 2 years, and then there's 2 years or 3 years after you're placed that you're in their automotive services that they just do 35% of everything for 2 or 3 years. It's not just like a one-time deal. It's like a full-on program. So it's awesome.
Wow. I haven't heard of that actually. I mean, I've heard of like the mechanics ministry, kind of like where they do the normal, minor oil changes, maybe tune-ups, minor things. But as far as giving someone a car, that's big. Especially
Yeah,
who really need it. Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
What
Awesome.
was the name of it again?
Hands of the Carpenter.
I wanted to ask you a question, Jasmine. With those cars, do they have a warranty on them, or is it just kind of?
No, they're buy as is. They don't have a
Okay.
warranty on them. They're not you can't do payment plans on them. You have to purchase them outright, $900 to $1,500 and be referred. And yeah, there's all kinds of things, but it's as is. It's just like if you bought it from somebody out the street, Craigslist or something, but not like that because you still get your temp tag and all that. So, but they have like that 35% to cost to fix anything. And then you get your first tire change, you get free tires. So it's, yeah, pretty cool still.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so who wants to go next? Sherry or Andrea?
I can go, it's Andrea.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up your information. Okay, when you're ready.
Okay, so I picked a nonprofit organization. There's 2 locations. There's one in Boulder and there's one in Denver, and it's called There with Care. So I picked the Denver location, although it's the same organization. They just have one in Boulder, one in Denver. And this is basically a nonprofit organization that provides like thoughtful and fundamental services to families and children during the critical phase of a medical crisis. So if a family member or child, in particular children, have a diagnosis of perhaps cancer, this organization is there to help the families get through those dark hours. They provide things that kind of help, like at the, during your crisis, like transportation, meal preparation, baby essentials, home maintenance, sibling support. And that's sibling support is pretty much like a mentor that will come in, or even therapy services, professional support, and phone and IT support that will keep the family connected, especially during COVID. So if the child has to be on an oncology unit for any reason during COVID, then they do supply the family with like a phone and IT support to keep in contact. I put that I believe this organization is having a huge impact on the community. And the reason why is like if a family is facing a medical crisis and can't hardly function at full capacity, this organization understands that families are in a hardship at that moment. And for example, their transportation program, it comes with helping patients or family members go to and from medical appointments. If you have just regular doctor's appointments, or if you have to go to the hospital for any reason, they'll provide like ride share for you. If you don't have gas, then they get you gas vouchers so that you can have gas to get to your appointments or to go see your loved one that is in a hospital, to kind of assist with those hard moments in the time that they're in. So I selected this organization because I had a goddaughter who had cancer, and she was actually, I found out through her once she passed away that she was signed up with There with Care. And There with Care kind of just helped my really good friend with like meal preparation, bringing meals to the family whenever the mother just felt distressed and couldn't prepare meals for her family. They would take her to the hospital and pick her up to see her daughter. And I just think it's a great resource to have in the community. So I would like to get involved with this organization on some capacity, maybe a few hours a month of some type of community service, volunteer support. I would love to do. And this scored 17 out of 18. And that's all I got.
Nice. I love it. Especially when families are going through such a hard time. The last thing they think about is just the basic supplies or basic, needs.
Finances, yeah, essential needs.
When someone can come in and just kind of lift up that burden, it's huge. So I love that. That's and they're in where? Boulder, Colorado? Is that where they're at?
They have a location in Boulder and they also have one in Denver.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Boulder's not too far from Denver, maybe a 30-minute commute.
Yeah, look at this one. It looks like they have 900 volunteers.
Mhm.
They listed in 2019, 900 volunteers. So there's a lot of activity with this organization. So, all right, awesome. Well done.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I just wanted to say, Andrea, that's an awesome concept. We always take for granted so many times, those things and how essential they are, but we don't take into consideration that when we're going through a struggle or a trial or a tragedy, how helpful that is. Just making a
Yes.
meal sometimes is burdensome. So
Mhm.
I love the concept of that.
Yeah.
Well,
me
thank
too.
you, Sherry. Thank you so much.
All right, so let's go to,
I just had a quick question.
Yeah.
It says to please attach all supportive documents, including proof of tax exempt. Do you want me to attach all of like the tax forms basically?
yes,
Okay. Just
send them
checking.
in a PDF.
All right, thank you.
Okay, all right, Sherry, looks like you're next.
I'm ready.
Okay, let me pull up your information. Bear with me.
Who's up?
Sherry Bertson.
Birdsong.
Oh, Sherry Birdsong, okay. We want to put you in the green zone on our sheet.
All right, so looks
Did
like,
you get- you did it.
all right. Okay, take it away.
The organization that I chose was Save Our Youth is here in Denver. And there's one also in Colorado Springs. And I chose this nonprofit because they serve young people who are from like low poverty families. Their homes are unstable. They're struggling with anxiety or depression. There's like excessive abuse and mental illnesses in their homes. So currently, they have about 644 volunteers in which they are looking for more. I did speak to Dan, one of the recruiters there at Save Our Youth. I actually met him at a conference on Friday, so he gave me more insight on their program. I have not yet to sign up to be a mentor, but I am this week. So you could sign up to be a mentor to youth. And that looks like you pick them up, you can have one-on-ones, you volunteer. Your commitment is for a 1-year mentorship. So you will be shadowed by one of their mentoring specialists. So you have to have a vehicle so you can pick them up. You could tutor, you can treat them to lunch, you can treat them to breakfast. You could just build that like a long lasting relationship with them. And I think that I'm attached to this organization because here in Denver, since I've moved to Denver, I myself have personally opened up my doors to teens and adults who were homeless or had some type of dysfunction in their homes. So I just think that this organization was really moving for me. So, and they did score a 17 out of 18.
That's what it looks like.
So
Nice.
That's all I have. And they have a lot of other little programs, like they kind of prep them for career paths and help them with like tutoring. They assist with college scholarships. They also have like little like gatherings that they do to celebrate their youth. Also, so that's all I got.
Nice. I like that. And they have a lot of volunteers, which is nice.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Sherry?
Welcome.
No?
Bravo, Sherry, bravo.
Yeah, well
Brava.
done.
Thank you.
Well done. All right, you see, it wasn't that bad. All right, you got a check. All right, so it looks like we're down. Tanita was supposed to. Yeah, she hasn't logged in yet. Okay, we'll have her do that next week. Okay. All right, Dan, we're done with these presentations.
Sounds good. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay, tonight we're doing section 8, class 6. And if everybody gets their grants done next week, then next week will be our last week. So just like that, the weeks go really fast. It's kind of like life, as they say. So tonight we're going to talk about freeing up resources so you can start practicing some generosity, or you can increase your generosity. And so that's what we're dialed into. There's a saying called a penny saved is a penny earned. And that was penned by Ben Franklin. You've heard it before, but do you know what it means? Can somebody kind of tell me what they think that means? Don't be bashful. Not spending money is just as valuable as earning and spending it. A penny saved is 2 pennies earned. Andrew Tobias in the 20th century. And why is that? Because half your earnings go to taxes. So good luck with that 2 pennies that you got. It's 25% federal, 10% state, 8% Social Security, 8% sales. And if you live in California, they just tack on 10% because you live here. It takes $8 of earnings to buy a $4 cup of coffee. So when you start thinking about your earnings, kind of brings you back to some reality. A penny saved is 3 pennies earned. And why is that? Because people put purchases on their credit cards and do not pay them off, or have student loans, car loans, home equity loans, et cetera, just loans in general. So taxes take the first penny, and interest takes away the second penny. So it takes $12 of earnings to pay for a $4 cup of coffee with your credit card. Here's some perspectives on personal finances that we see out there these days. If I have money in my checking account, I'm good. If I have available credit in my credit card, I'm good. And so we're going to discuss the consequences of living life with not worrying too much about your finances. Now, there's a saying, I think the saying is, it's hard to adult. Usually the financial part is the real adult part of life. Starting to think about finances, think of each purchase as costing you double or 3 times that amount. And you will have to reduce your other spending in order to start paying off the debt. cut up most or all if you can of your credit cards. Consider the following situation. Credit card at 24% interest, and that's what a lot of them are, even with our interest rates at 2% or 3%. Here's a situation where you have 24% interest, a $10,000 balance, and a 3% minimum payment. This is the example that we're going to give you. What is your minimum payment this month? How much interest will you pay this month? This is on $10,000. If you always pay only the minimum payment, how long do you think it would take to pay it off? If you reduce your spending, well, let me ask, anybody have an idea on number 3?
30 years?
30 years, okay, probably, maybe never. So if you had to reduce your spending by $200 per month or $7 a day and instead pay the minimum, 300 plus 200 or 500 a month every month, how long do you think that would take to pay it off? If you have a 3% minimum balance on $10,000 balance, your monthly payment is $300. Many credit cards have a 2% or smaller minimum payment. 24% annual interest is 2% per month, so your interest is $200. Of your $300 payment that you make, only $100 reduces the debt. There's a link here, and I want to remind you. Fact is, I already sent you guys these wonderful slides, and there's a website here that kind of lets you calculate payments, how long, the reality of finances, and that's the link to that website. And the numbers, if you plug them in here, you can you'll see what they are, or what the payments are. And well, you can see the whole picture actually. It would take 25 years. So you were really close on that guess of 30 years. It would take you 303 months to pay off your debt.
Wow.
So that'll wake you up. Why? Because the minimum payment goes down each month. That's one reason, is your payment's going down. So if you just look at the minimum payment amount and pay that, you end up you pay less and less and less. So if you notice, the minimum payment goes from 300 down to 263 over 14 months. I think somebody had a, yeah, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
wanted to ask a question. So basically what you're just paying on is interest. You haven't even touched the money that you still owe to pay back.
Yeah, you're just helping the credit card people get a little bit richer.
And if you look at it, it's painful to watch. You know what I mean? To see, wow, it's, for that, shirt, $20 shirt, it's crazy. It ends up being, a $40 shirt. So it's really looking at this and really looking at, okay, is it a need or is it a want? And so for me, I'll give you just a little history of mine. So, when I took this class, about 8 years ago, it's like it really put me into the mindset of really looking at my finances, where I took the Financial Peace University with Dave Ramsey. I really got myself in a situation where I'm like, okay, what my goal is to be debt free. And here I am today, literally debt free. The only thing I have is my mortgage. But it's nice not to owe, credit cards and live below your means. And that's how you're able to be generous, to be able to say, okay, I do want to volunteer. I do want to donate, and you're able to do that. But when you have this debt, it's hard to be generous.
The other thing about all this is when you get your credit cards all paid off and you just think you're hot as snot, you got to keep them paid off. I know sometimes I slip into kind of letting them gain a little on me again. And and you gotta make.
That's why you have to cut them up.
That's why- Well, yeah, but I mean,
I don't even tempt it. I'm not even tempted. I cut those things up and that's it.
yeah,
Knows.
it's a good idea, but not all of us are to that level yet. Anyway, if you keep them paid to zero, you're still, it's like having them cut up. And sometimes you just, depending on your position in your job and things like that, you have to have one or two. What if we stuck the $300 payment and didn't even add anything additional? Let's see here. What will it take to pay off my current balance? This is another link on here for another calculator. And so if you really want to know, you can figure it out because we've given you links to figure it out. So we just went from 25 years to less than 5. So I think that's because, why is it less than 5 now? Oh, okay. Why is it less than 5? Who can help me here? It went from 20 some years to 5. It's because we kept paying $300.
Yeah, the more you pay, the less it's gonna take.
Yeah, we didn't go with this minimum thing here. We stuck with $300. So if you stick with $300, it gets down to 5 years. That's pretty dramatic, really. It just shows you. The problem when you accrue interest on a credit card. The same principle applies also if you have a 401k or a savings account that pays you 5%. It really, the money really grows a lot, really fast after 5 or 6 years. Okay, now, well, let's go up to $500 a month. And we got 500 here. And it's down to 2 years. So there is hope out there. If some of you are a little bit in the underwater here. So if you can just figure out some ways to up that amount, you can get out of the debt in 2 years. That's pretty fast for $10,000. I know when I started attacking my debt, I was at $160,000. And I got it paid off pretty quick, but I was working 7 days a week to get it paid off. It was nice. I paid it off, paid the bank off. And then I asked them if I could get my line of credit open again, and they said no. I said, wow, thanks. So kind. I'd only been at the bank for 20 years or something. They're not your friends. What if you pay $500 a month each month on your credit card, but continue to spend $300 on that same card? You will never pay it off. Okay, I knew we had a slide that said you never ever pay it off. So what happens is you have that balance, you have the payment, you have $200 interest, and you're spending $300 more. So you're basically spinning your wheels. So once you get serious about paying off these credit cards, it means basically can't use them. You just have to pay them off. If you have debt with multiple credit cards, okay, let's talk some reality here. If the interest rates are pretty close to each other, apply all extra money to the account with the lowest balance. Then when that one is paid off, apply all the extra money to the next account. And there's another reason that this is good is then you have some success. It's good to take the low balance one, have some success, so you feel like you have a win, and then you can take on the next challenge, which is a little bit tougher. If 1 or 2 cards have a much higher interest rate, pay those off first and then go back to number 1. So you got to look at the interest rate and take that into account, and then look at the balances. And there's some Proverbs to consider. Proverbs is a book in the Bible that is full of wisdom. There's two Proverbs. Whoever loves pleasure will become poor. Whoever loves wine and olive oil will never be rich. And the plans of the diligent leads surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes out only to poverty. And so a part of that, he who is hasty, sometimes when you're going to buy something, if you can just delay it a little bit, a day or two, sometimes you'll back off and keep you from going down the path to poverty. Why are Americans so much in debt? I mean, the numbers I think now are I think we have a record amount of money in savings and a record amount of money in debt. It's because we have a culture of materialism. What does that mean? You can tell me what their definition of materialism is.
Overbuying toilet paper.
Overbuying. It might be overbuying the wrong toilet paper.
You have a stockpile in your garage.
Oh my gosh, I never heard that in class before. Anybody else?
I think it's just when people have a need to want to overextend themselves in buying things that they really don't need. Basically, it could be influence of keeping up with other people, or because everyone says it's the latest and greatest thing, or, just something like you feel that you had to have.
Right. And it's so easy for us to buy. I mean, it's not like it takes a lot of effort these days. On your phone, you have an app called Amazon. All you got to do
I
is
know.
click 4 or 5 things and you got it.
And you
So
get
it's easier than ever. What's that?
And you get it the next day. Amazon Prime.
Yeah, sometimes you get it the same day.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you got your materialism fixed just like that.
I think we've.
I also think oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was just saying, I think we've gone for those shows where they sell things online. I mean, on TV, 24 hours to just automatic access on your phone.
Yeah. There's a reason those shows are 24 hours. It's because people are buying stuff. Emily, I think you had a comment.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think somewhere along the way too, we somehow associated the freedoms that we treasure as an American, with freedom to purchase, right? Or life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to mean the right to have the greatest and best thing, which I think it's different, right? Most of us have what we need, but sometimes we assume that freedom also means that we should get everything we want.
Okay. There's a comment here in this context. We're talking about desire for material possessions. And this desire seems to be insatiable, like it never ends. All you got to do is go to a mall and it starts all over. We buy because we want, with a no concern for the impact. And so we want me. According to California psychologist Mr. Cantor, feelings of satisfaction and happiness decline among people driven by a need for financial success and fancy possessions. People who buy, who believes that? I mean, I'm just up here preaching at you guys. So feelings of satisfaction and happiness decline among people driven by a need. Is that a true statement or a false statement? Why is it which?
Well,
I'm questioning the financial success part of it.
Go ahead. Sure.
I mean, I guess that depends on your definition of financial success.
Okay.
I don't see how that would make people be sad or not happy.
Okay. That's a good point.
I was thinking of all of these, and the first thing that comes to mind is the scripture where it says the love of money is the root of all evil. And, when you have an excess of spending, it's a temporary fix, but then you have to deal with the consequences, and then realizing that if that's the root of your happiness, and then realizing that what it's done for that happiness, then you become depressed and stressed because now you're in debt.
And I also think that financial success, I think in a lot of ways we've gotten kind of lazy in our culture. and it's come pretty easy. And I always encourage people to work hard and to go hard, but to live a balanced life as best they can. But one good reason for financial success is to be more generous. Because I know a lot of people that they don't help any nonprofits. They just don't. And they could, let's say they could work a day once a month, making some overtime. So basically they chill instead of making a couple $100 and giving it to somebody. And so, yeah, they're not stressed out by financial success, but on the other hand, they're not, they're not getting anywhere. They're just being chill. And a lot of Americans, that's kind of what we are, is we're all chill. And a lot of people just don't care. People who buy into the values of consumer culture end up starved for close friends, family, or any deeper meaning in their lives. And that could be said of a lot of things. Social media is, basically substitutes, I don't know, being pretty with, contacting people in person. This COVID thing has made everybody more isolated, and I think harmed us in a way. Money and possessions are hollow compensations for doubts about self-worth, worries about life's uncertainties, and especially fears of death. Materialism, money is the root of all kinds of evil. Is that really in the Bible? What's anybody that's a faith person? What would you say?
Just missing the first two words.
Yes, it is.
You would say yes, okay. Anybody else?
And it's actually the love of money, not money. There's nothing wrong with money. It's the loving of it.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
money's just a tool, I think. It's, yeah, like she said, it's the love of money.
Yes, it is sort of. People who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap. And into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge men into ruin and destruction. When the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, some people eager for money have wandered from their faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. And so people who want to get rich, that's probably the love of money. For the love of money is the root for all kinds of evil. List of characteristics of people who want to get rich. Give me throw out a couple of characteristics.
I would
Ambitious?
describe. Oh, I was going to say the same thing, Fernando.
Oh, I said it.
What were you going to say? What'd you say? Say it again.
Me and Fernando said ambitious.
Ambitious, okay. People who want to get rich are ambitious. Okay. Anything else?
I would say someone who's what's the word I'm looking for? Like has a really tenacious attitude. Like they're not going to let anything or anyone get in their way. If it's family, friends, free time, that's not a thing for them.
It's like they're like bulldogs. There's also some people that are employers that are very abusive of people that work for them. They fall into a temptation and a trap. They fall into foolish and harmful desires. They get plunged into ruin and destruction.
And death.
And they wander from the faith. There's a lot of reasons people wander from the faith. But this is one of them. They pierce themselves with many griefs. For some people, Oh, I'm sorry, can some credit cards be used effectively? For some people, no. Do you have the discipline to pay it off every month? And do you have the discipline to see charging on a card to be just as painful as pulling money out of your wallet? That's part of the psychology of credit cards, is you're not handling cash. So it takes some of the reality out of it. So for some people, yes, cash back credit cards can help reduce costs if you can avoid interest and fees. So yeah, it's for the most part, it's probably better not to have them, but they can be a useful tool. Breaking the living paycheck to paycheck cycle, getting on a budget to live within your means. Budgeting basics, how to make a zero-based budget. Write down your monthly income. Write down your monthly expenses. Food, shelter, utilities, clothing, and transportation. And these days, with prices being pushed up at certain points, you have to really pay attention. And actually, with one way to beat inflation, which is a lot more serious now than it was, is just to cut out some stuff, and you're at the same amount of money. Write down your non-monthly expenses, seasonal, holiday, birthday, and anniversary expenses. Now, who's going to do that? I just said that. So is anybody here going to cut down on that? Or are you just going to nod your head at me? So, you know, one thing I see these days, like I notice with kids, is they have more parties and more, like my daughter's in Florida right now, because it's not a honeymoon, it's a baby moon. And it's like, that's the thing now.
Yeah, I heard it.
In addition to a honeymoon, you got a baby moon. And then at my house 2 weeks ago, I had a party for the second kid instead of just the first kid. I'm going, wow, you guys are partying all the time. Where have I been? So I think it's just, you know, maybe have a good time, maybe have some fun, but you know, each one of those events, like the trip to Florida, costs money, and you know, a nice baby shower gift costs money. So it's like, oh my, when does this end? Irregular expenses, car registration, taxes, premiums, car repairs, quarterly renewals, things like that. Subtract your income from your expenses to equal zero, track and goal. And every dollar must have a name. Here's another website, Quick Start Budget. And if you do this, if you're married, if you do it together, that's the best way. But if you do this, it helps you kind of put together a budget. Is anybody in class on a budget that you could honestly say you're on a budget? Let me see if I can see everybody.
I am.
You're on a budget? Okay. That's one. Emmy, are you on a budget?
No.
Don't lie to me.
No, I'll be honest, no.
Mark, are you on a budget?
A loose one, yeah, nothing like down on paper, but
Okay. Are you?
Yeah.
Are you retired?
no, I'm not. I still
Yeah.
have 6 or 7 years.
Okay. A lot
I'm
of
on a
times,
budget.
though, you probably makes more. Sometimes when you're around for a while, you start making more money.
I'm on a budget.
You don't have to be on a tight budget, but you know, you have to.
Ramsey's, the Dave Ramsey thing that I think Veronica said about earlier.
Yeah, I
Right.
use the Every Dollar app.
Yeah, I'm on that. I do the
Yeah.
program with Dave Ramsey.
It's really user friendly. You just log in your information, any money left over gets rolled over, so it goes straight to savings. So it's a good way to kind of keep track of your expenses, because you don't realize it when you're using your debit card for this and that and here and there, and it's easy to lose control.
Is the
So
site
pay-
called quickstartbudget.com or something like that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. But
I
there's
use
a
the
Dave
Every
Ramsey
Dollar,
one,
the
too.
Dave Ramsey one.
What'd you say, Veronica? Use the what?
It's called Every Dollar. It's on the next slide.
Okay.
It's,
Yeah, that one.
which one? Oh, right here.
Every Dollar.
Yep. So there's plenty of apps. The problem is you have to do it. There's Mint, Quicken, all kinds of stuff out there. 3 pennies earned, we're not kidding. Month one. A man gets his credit card bills and decides to pay 35 a month. He pays 35 from his bank account. How much did he have to earn? We're back to the taxes again. So it's at least 28%, 6.5 Social Security, 1.5 Medicare, 34, 40, 42% already. He has to earn 63 or 43%, 42% goes to taxes. At 18% interest, 15. Oh, okay, at 18% interest on a credit card, 15 over 35 is interest. So 63 paid, earned, paid down $20 in debt. So you have to be really, really careful. There's hope out there, but I know it looks a little bleak sometimes. If I spend less than I make each month, I'm good. Why did car salesmen and realtors start with how big a payment can you afford? Is that the right question? It's the right question for the salesman. It's kind of what we do when we buy a house is, what size payment can you afford in your house? As interest rates go up and down on houses, it always, the house price usually lands on what people can afford as payments. Although it's like a lot of money. The right question is, what is the payment for the car I need? We were just talking about cars. And that sounded like you guys were getting cars that were paid off, which is good. Cars are a big ego thing, though. There's no doubt about that. And everybody says they aren't, but please. Common ways to waste money. Late fees, overdraft fees, checking account fees, high interest, signature loans, credit cards, many second mortgages, replacing working items with new items too quickly, cars, TVs, computers, iPhones, paying someone else to do what you are capable of doing, but when you can't really afford to. It's kind of a big one. You know, people get their lawns mowed and it's nice, but it's only nice if you can afford it. Lottery tickets, tax on people who are bad at math. There's a quote to consider. It's easy to buy a $30,000 car, just buy a $20,000 car with 60 monthly payments. So that's kind of how that works. The debt reduction loan that suppose you have 10,000 in credit card debt at 18% due to overspending, 500 a month, and you get a debt reduction loan at 10,000 at 9% plus $100 in fees. In other words, you get these things in the mail all the time to pay off your credit card loans, and you go into another loan. How much have you reduced your debt? None. On day one, you have $100 more in debt because you paid this $100 in fees. Suppose you have 10,000 in credit card debt at 18% due to overspending 500 a month. And you get we just did that one day. Let's pay attention here. If your required payment is reduced from 200 to 100 a month, what is the impact? Now, instead of overspending 500 a month, you'll overspend at 400 a month. So you have improved things a little bit. Suppose you have 10,000 and you get it done. Here's another, where will you be at in 2 years? You'll owe 9,000 on your debt reduction loan and 10,000 on your credit card. So it looks like you improved yourself $1,000. It only works, however, if you cut up your credit card. Otherwise, you're going to go backwards. A man is going on a journey called the servants and trusted his wealth. He gave one guy 5 bags of gold, another 2, another 1, each according to his abilities. He went on a long journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 more bags. Also, the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more, but the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of these servants returned and settled accounts with them. A man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. He said, "You entrusted me with 5. I have gained 5 more." The master replied, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things." The man with 2 bags did the same thing. And then finally, the man with 1 bag of gold came and he said, "I knew you were a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered. So I was afraid and hid your gold in the ground. So here is what belongs to you." The master said, and this is kind of harsh, "You wicked, lazy servant, so you know that I harvest where I have not sown, gather where I have not scattered seed. Well then, should have put my money on deposit with the bankers so that when I returned, I would have received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one with 10 bags." So basically, I think the point is the guy was just a little bit lazy and wasn't trying to figure out how to make any money. And so he just got afraid and hid his money. Anybody have any comments on this story? I've always kind of had a little bit of a problem with the story, if I'm honest with you guys. But I think the point of the story is this: if you're a faith person, a God follower, and God entrusts you with talent, He wants you to magnify that talent and use that talent and not just sit on it. So if you're a faith person and you have been given money from the Lord, or you've been given talent, God expects you to use that and to gain the talent to bring to increase your faith and your spiritual journey. What are the characteristics of the first 2 investors? Characteristics is they doubled their money. The third investor just hid his money. And so there's a couple questions. Is it fair that some investors have more than other investors? What do you guys think? Is God being fair here?
Yeah, you do the work, you get the credit. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing.
Okay. Jasmine, what do you think? Any thoughts? Jasmine, Tahani, Sherry. I have a Zoom user. Whether or not it's fair doesn't matter. It's just a fact of life. It's how life is. It's like some people, like we're all fortunate. We're all born in the United States. It's just a big leg up that we have on everybody else. And what is the message of the parable? Everybody had a chance to do something with whatever they had. And, the master expected them to do something with what they've been given. We talked about Dave Ramsey. He's got a lot of good stuff. Fact is, we have his video series. If anybody in our classes wants to watch his videos, we loan them to you. We don't charge you, we loan them to you. So those are available if some of this is stuff you want to start working on.
How much did you say, Dan? How much did you say they are to rent them?
Oh, we just let you borrow them. We don't charge you anything.
Awesome.
So if you have an interest, email us and I think they're in a 6-set series or something like that.
Cool.
There's Larry Burkett, Harry Dayton, Ron Blue, Randy Alcorn. We're going to show you a Dave Ramsey clip. And so you'll see how Dave is if you're not used to him. So let me, any questions on all that? I kind of zoomed through. Because we're on a Zoom meeting. So anyway, where did my thing go? It's over here. Just make sure we can hear it. Did you guys hear that and see it?
I can hear it, not see it though.
Oh, you can't see it?
Yeah, no, we can see it, Dan.
Okay.
If you want to win with money, let me give you a good idea. Figure out what most people are doing and run in the other direction. Run in the other direction. Most people are broke. Most people look good and they're broke. They spend more than they have coming in. They don't act their wage. They don't live on a plan. They don't agree on spending with their spouse. Their only hope for retirement is that the government, which is well known for its ability to handle money, will take care of them. They don't have money set aside for emergencies. They run credit card debt and student loans and car debt all day, every day. They spend like they're in Congress. Most people are stupid when it comes to money. 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. The bankruptcy rate is at an all-time high and foreclosures are rising again. Credit card debt continues to climb and we have $1 trillion in student loan debt out there. The average car payment in America today now is $496 over 84 months. That's stupid. Normal in America is broke and stupid. You don't want to be normal. You want to be weird. One of the greatest compliments you can get on this show is if you call up and I say, man, you're weird. I'm looking at weird people. You guys are weird, which means that you're contrary. You are a contrarian. You are perpendicular to the culture. When the culture has lost its way, the best thing you can do is be opposite. Figure out whatever they're doing and do the other thing, right? Because you're only going to get what they're getting when you do what they're doing. This is not hard to figure out. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. You do reap what you sow. You live in a cause and effect world, baby. There's no way around this. So your goal, when I went broke, I realized my goal is to be weird. My goal is to be different. And personal finance is 80% behavior. It's only 20% head knowledge. So this is not some math formula that you got a problem with. This is a person in your mirror. I figured out if I can make the guy in my mirror behave, he can be skinny and rich. He's got issues. And once we realize that behavior is what causes people to handle their money poorly or handle it well, then what we've got to decide is our behaviors. And if you have the same behaviors as broke people have, when it comes to money, you're going to have the same results broke people have. You're just going to be another broke person. And some of you are making $250,000 a year and you're broke. You got no money at all. You got a mess. Loans coming out your ears. You can't breathe. You run like a rat in a wheel, have a heart attack and die and wonder what happened. This is no way to live. Buying things you can't afford with money you don't have to impress people you don't really like. Some of you spend an unbelievable amount of money on a car payment to impress somebody at a stoplight you will never be introduced to. But, buddy, you felt cool there for about, 3.5 seconds? Fool. I've been that fool. That's why I know who he is. I've been that guy. I've been that shallow where I thought that my car actually mattered to somebody. Give me a break. Nobody gives a rip about your car. Listen, if you know what I drive right now? Anything I want. You know why? Because I drove crap for a long time. I drove cars like nobody else would drive. Now I get to drive whatever I want to drive. And I don't drive them for you. I drive them because I like them. I couldn't give a care less what you think about what I drive. It's not my problem. It's not your problem either, by the way. I'm going to enjoy. I'm a boy. I like nice cars. I'm going to get, but I'm not going to have a nice car with a stupid car payment on it. It's ridiculous. If your self-esteem is so screwed up that you're doing that, then you're going to struggle with money. You're normal. People spending a bunch of money to act like they're something they're not. What they call in Texas, big hat, no cattle. You need to decide, I don't care what other people think, and I'm going to be weird. Whatever you're doing with money, I'm going to do the opposite thing. And when you decide that, you'll start winning with money. I don't have any credit cards, not a single one. No, I don't believe in points. I've never met a millionaire who said, Dave, you know, I made all my money with my airline miles. No, stupid. People don't say that in the real world. I meet middle-class people who spend everything on a credit card because they're racking up points. Now, figure this math out for me. You get 1% back on your stupid Discover card, right? Have you ever discovered what the math is on that Discover card? That means if you spend $100,000, you get $1,000. Is this a path to wealth anywhere you went to math class? That's just straight up stupid. I mean, in the 6th grade, you should have been able to figure, 4th grade, 3rd grade, you should have been able to figure that one out, that's not going to work. I mean, you run $100,000 through a stupid credit card to get a free airline ticket. Give me a break. With what you overspent, you could have bought 10 airline tickets. And all in the name of, I'm racking up points. I'm beating it. You're not beating anybody. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. They've done so many behavior studies on you based on your zip code and your demographic. They know what kind of bottled water you drink, fool. They're tracking you. Every movement you make on the web is being followed with web analytics. They know exactly what you're doing. No, this is not a conspiracy theory. They are better at marketing than you are at living your life, and they're selling you so much crap you're broke. And you're playing their game. You're playing Citibank's game. What's in your wallet? I'll tell you what's in my wallet. Money. That's what's in my wallet. It's not a bunch of stupid plastic. So I'm weird. Dave, you're weird. You're right. I'm not broke. Normal's broke. I don't want to be normal. I engage in weird activities, and so I get weird results, and that's called money. I'm not broke anymore because I do things that broke people don't do. And I don't do things that the broke people do. Why is this hard? You want to be skinny? Find out what skinny people eat. Eat what they eat. You'll be skinny. You want to be fat? Eat what fat people eat. You will be fat. This is not rocket science, people. Figure it out. You want a great marriage? Well, don't ask somebody who's been divorced 6 times. We'll pray for them, but I don't need their marriage advice. They ain't got this thing figured out, baby. I want to find somebody that's winning and emulate them. This is not rocket science.
You kind of know where Dave stands. Is there any question about what he thought?
He's funny.
You want to be weird.
He's for real though.
Now here's the deal on Dave Ramsey. He's good. He's a little tough. Like I have another word. I have another word I use for him sometimes. Starts with N and ends with I. I call him the Nazi finance guy. But he's right is the problem. But what's good about Dave is he's on radio. He has a radio show. You could probably listen to a little bit once in a while. You can go on YouTube and find like 50 videos. It's just good to take some of that in because it's always a battle. The financial part's always a battle until you really get good behaviors. But I think even with good behaviors, you can backslide quite a bit. So, any comments or questions about Mr. Ramsey?
Do you guys cover the 7 steps in this class or no?
His 7 steps, no.
It's the videos, it's the Financial Peace University.
Yeah.
If you take the class,
Yeah, I'm actually part of it.
you took the class already?
Huh?
Did you already take the class?
Yes, that's actually how I found out about Giving University.
Really?
Yeah, I was in the cross finance program.
Yeah, I just love the concept. So to me, it was like easy. I got, baby step number 1, got my credit cards number 2 step. I'm working on number 3 step.
Nice.
So yeah, it's good. I saw your message, Sherry. We'll get you the videos out there.
Thank you.
Oh, which videos did Sherry need?
Sherry's interested, Birdsong. We'll talk to Beth about maybe sending her the videos.
Oh, the Ramsey videos?
Financial.
Oh,
Peace
okay.
University.
Yeah, we're happy to lend those out.
Mhm.
They don't get used enough. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was Dave Ramsey. Here's a little bit on retirement. There's no historical basis for retirement. It's for the past 6,000 years, people needed to work as long as they were able to, just to survive and provide. We're very fortunate in our lifetimes. We don't have to a lot of times, and we have a lot of wealth. Families stayed together, provided for invalid grandparents. Until about 200 years ago, only very few people died of old age. As the economy grew in the 19th century, society enacted child labor laws, 40-hour work weeks, and invented retirement. Did any of you know that, by the way, on retirement?
Yeah.
It's just something pretty brand new. And you're constantly told to plan for retirement and all that good stuff. There's some good things about planning for retirement. It's mostly, planning to have some, like Dave Ramsey was talking about, have some money. But I do tend to see that a lot of retired people have the opportunity to do great things and to help people and to be generous with their money and their time. And a lot of them don't do anything. It's like, and there are a lot of them are my friends. What came first, division of labor and productivity? When Social Security was passed, the retirement age was 65, the life expectancy of a man was 68. Retirement has become the main goal, and it's almost like a religion, really. There's a couple things I think last week I said safety was a religion. I think retirement can be a religion. Sports can be a religion. People gear their working years towards the day when they can sit around and play golf. Now I like to golf, but there's only so much golf you can do. So you talk about early retirement, you hear that over and over. I have a friend that retired at 45, actually. They use websites and calculators to determine how much they need to build up in order to retire. There's some studies on aging and retirement. Retirees were studied for 18 years based on being in one of these 4 groups: healthy, that retired early; healthy, retired after 65; less healthy, retired early; less healthy, retired after 65. The healthy group was 11% less likely to die if they waited until after 65. The less healthy group was 9% less likely to die if they waited until after 65. At where I work at Power Plus, my owner doesn't want me to ever retire, so he's kind of a slave driver. But the thing is, he does, he's not trying to eliminate you because you might be a little more expensive than a young guy. He wants you to work as long as you want. So consider a change in your perspective. I see people all the time, they retire and then the next day they don't have anything to do. And then they play golf for a while, they go in their RV for a while, or they just hang out and play cards for a while. You know, but after about half a year, they realize that, you know, they need something to do. Forget the notion that you deserve a time in your life when you don't have to do anything. If you enjoy your work, plan on working as long as you're able to. If you have a good job, something you like, you know, maybe trim it back a little bit, but work as long as you're able. If you don't enjoy your work, think about finding work you do enjoy. One of my co-teachers in GU, his name is Mark. When he retires from Power Plus, he wants to be a greeter at Home Depot. And I think the reason is he's a friendly guy, just loves, you know, saying hi and being nice to people. And so I always think about that when I show this statement. So consider a change in your perspective. Think about what you can do to make today more fulfilling, instead of thinking someday in the future will be better. In other words, think about generosity this week. You know, think, what can I do to invest more? What can I do to help somebody starting tomorrow? Save for retirement only based on your reduced ability to earn in the future. So if you think you'll earn less, just try to, you know, earn the money to kind of fill in the gaps. If you want to work towards a time when you can devote all your time to volunteer work, that would be a worthy alternative. But I'll say it again, I don't see a whole lot of that going on. And then be generous with the rest. So that's a show for tonight, folks, and we're coming down to 8 o'clock. So any comments? I think we have 5 or 6 of you that I got to do presentations next week. So don't delay. I met a guy at a company thing this last Thursday, and he made it all the way through class and didn't get his grant done. So I said, Michael, we're here to help you, because we want you to get $1,000. It's like I tell people, I said, you're gypping somebody out of $1,000. If you have friends that are interested in GU, just tell them, hey, you know, go get $1,000 for a nonprofit. It's a great opportunity. Plus you're gypping big other nonprofits.
I was going to ask, can we recommend people for GU, or is that only you guys?
Hey, you're our advocates.
You are to be recruiting.
You are our GU. I tell people all the time, you guys know I'm trying to find people to build homes in Mexico, and I told a couple of my coworkers, I said, hey, you're the GU ambassador. Start acting like it. Go hustle for me. Yeah, you can bring your family, your friends, people that aren't your friends, whoever you like.
Okay.
We love putting people on trips.
Sounds good. I'll send some people your way.
I have a question.
Yeah. Let me finish up. The next Santa classes is April, the first week on Thursday nights. And it would be double good, Fernando, if you got me some home builders for June, the third week. I don't want to put any pressure on you, but maybe you could come help me.
If I could get some time off of work.
There you go. Tell the guy to get a little more generous.
Wait, isn't the Uganda trip in June too?
Yeah.
They're not on the same.
If you go to Uganda, you get out of building houses with me. Okay. That's your alternative.
Okay, who is the Zoom user?
I think the Zoom user.
Is this Emmanuel?
No, I think the Zoom user is the young lady at the end of our roster. You have our roster there?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
I think it is.
Zoom user? Emmanuel, is that you? I want to make sure I'm giving you credit,
I
so,
think it's Kelly.
It says Zoom on top of my thing, but I don't know if it's me. I'm iPhone. I'm usually the iPhone.
okay, what is your name?
Emmanuel.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I give you credit.
See, Emmanuel, I was wrong. You gotta see if you can put your name in that little Zoom user box.
Sorry, you guys caught me moving. I'm moving
Okay,
out
so
right now
you guys-
from place to place.
So does everyone know, next week is the last week? So it looks like Travis, I still need your information. Greg is off today. It looks like Emmy. You can finalize that. And let's see who else. Nia. Tahini, Emmanuel, and it looks- make sure that you're working on your your organization review this week.
Okay.
I'm gonna go around the room real quick. Just tell me one thing you think that you kind of know now that you didn't know. Andrea, we'll start with you because you're the first on my screen.
So something that I didn't know that I know today.
Yeah,
Well, I was years old when I found out that I need to get the 7-step thing from Dave Ramsey.
oh, okay,
Sounds like it worked really good for a lot of people.
awesome.
Yeah.
Did you go through it?
I have not. I want to go through it.
Oh, okay. You know, I think one thing is just listen to his show a little bit. If you can get it on the radio, it just kind of have to build up to some things.
You can
Might be
find
a
his
good one.
videos on YouTube.
Yeah, he's got
Okay.
YouTube. He's all over YouTube.
There's a podcast too.
Yeah.
Travis, how about you? What'd you learn? Or it could be any of the classes.
Going through the Guide Star and learning about the actual financial 990, having access to that helps a lot, really does.
That does make a big difference. That's the one thing I learned for sure. Nia, how about you?
I would say the same thing about David Ramsey. I've been into him before. It just really inspired me to just to go back and see what other gems that he has to drop. Honestly.
Yeah, most of the time he makes you mad.
No, but that's okay because he's just honest and blunt. And I like that about him.
Yeah, you're mad because you're mad at yourself. Sherry, what about you? What have you, anything you picked up?
Which one, Birdsong, me?
Sherry Hughes?
Oh,
Oh.
what I found really captivating that I thought that created a lot of awareness for me is when I looked at that Poverty Inc. video,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
it just opened up so much awareness about, the plight of the people there and, a lot of misconceptions and it just really was an eye opener for me.
Corby, did I say that right? Corby Johnson?
Yeah,
What's happening, Corby?
I think one thing I learned was I didn't know about was the 990 also.
The 990s, okay. Melissa, how about you?
I really was shocked with that ACE scoring card last week or the week before, whenever it was. I mean, I can't stop thinking about it. It really makes a lot of sense about the homelessness and the different scores. I mean, it was just mind blowing that they're finally finding out what causes that. And then I had a question about that. Does everyone that has a problem with alcohol and drugs, is it because they scored high on the chart, or can some of them have like a genetic predisposition to like alcoholism? Or, I mean, is trauma the cause of all of that? Always?
I don't know. I think they just use that as, there's a greater number of people. When they have a high score, they have more trouble. So it just manifests itself in different ways.
Yeah, that was just eye-opening.
Yeah, I think about that once in a while myself. Sometimes work can be really traumatic. Like if you get fired or if you have a boss that's You know, because you're at work so long, so many hours. If you have a boss that's just really brutal, it can really mess you up. I had a boss that was pretty brutal a long time ago, and I still think about it. Tonita, anything?
Yes, so the 990 form, that was one, and then the other one was I got to watch a little bit of Property Inc. and I didn't know that the like solar lights started, or those guys started it in Africa. So that was different. I mean, I didn't know that, and I was just like, wow, you know. And I only got to watch a little bit, so that was my question. If we don't answer all the questions for that movie, do we not finish the class, or how does that work? Because I really don't watch a lot of TV because I have two jobs. So how's that work?
We want you to watch that to complete the class.
Okay.
So just do the best you can.
Okay.
And I'm proud of you for having two jobs. That means you're hustling. Good job. Maybe it's a little old now, but it's a good, you know, you're trying. That's all you can do.
We are going to
Jazz?
make sure that you pass the class, so we will help you.
We'll give you the answers. How's that? We'll give you the answers on everything.
You're a trooper too, having two jobs.
Yeah.
I applaud you, honestly.
Yeah, we really do.
Yeah.
Thanks for being at class, by the way.
Yes. Thank you.
Jasmine, how about you?
I would say that the 990 analysis really kind of takes me aback. And then whenever I have questions about like, I've been using this in my job like 3 or 4 different times, GuideStar. So I'll just go and look at the 990 and compare and be like, okay, so that's where the money goes for this and that. Okay, so we can, so it's just been like, it's been useful. It's been a useful tool for me since I've gotten it. So
yeah,
yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, and for your job, change the parts that make sense for your job. You know, that's just how we see it. Tahani, how about you? How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I think my biggest takeaway, I like the A scoring system, but my biggest takeaway was probably the Property Inc. video. I found really interesting about the Tom shoes, but what really was interesting to me is how everyone thinks that them giving and donating is going to be such a beneficial thing, where the people who are actually getting the donations did not feel like they were helpful, and just giving, like, I think it was really raw how his honesty came out. Like, you know, I feel like they just keep us, what did he say? They keep us independent and wanting everything from them, and that's not what we want. And that just wasn't what I was expecting. So that really did open my eyes to something.
Yeah, and Tom's probably trying. They probably just need to adjust how they do it.
Yeah,
do a
just
different
adjust
item.
their idea.
Sherry, how about you? Sherry Birdsong?
The Dave Ramsey, and of course the 999, and that I need to cut up my credit cards and stop using them.
It's so hard.
Start with one.
Oh my God.
It's just like drugs. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
You are going to feel amazing when you literally have no debt.
I'm almost there, so.
Oh, you are? Awesome.
Yeah.
Credit
Well,
cards, yeah.
make sure you have a little bit of fun on your journey. It can't be.
Credit cards are the devil.
It can't be totally
Yes, they
bad. There's people on here that'll help you.
Yeah.
Carve, how about you? Carve.
I said the 990 earlier.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little slow. I see so many squares, I start getting mixed up. Did I do you, Lovisa?
No, I was gonna say the Poverty Inc. video for me as well. And just basically grasping a better understanding of how the cycle works, from how Americans pay taxes into all these charities and just the whole money flow, I would say, was the biggest takeaway for me.
Emmy, did I have you say something?
Not yet.
Now's your
I
big
thought-
chance.
Okay, thank you. Don't want to mess it up.
Yeah,
I
don't mess
definitely
up.
thought the trauma, I don't remember who mentioned that earlier tonight, but what we talked about last class with just how like trauma is, it's chemical, right? It's like actually in our brains things happen, and